recently, God, I feel like I always, for like literally the past, no kidding, just me and Hawk, like it's been like 10 years of like, we just pass each other in the night. It's
Yeah,
like,
he was in Columbus like the weekend after we were there.
I know. And
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, I was just with Hawk last week. It's like, I swear, it's like we're just not meant to be friends. Like,
No.
we had one great
And you'd be
hang.
such good friends, too.
I know, that's the thing. Like, we had one great hang at Miami, Ohio when he came down. Him and Boogs were the best.
They're
love
awesome.
Those guys.
I fucking love them.
And it was just like, we're like star-crossed lovers. Like, I'll never see him again. It's like,
I wish he would move to Columbus.
What?
I wish he would, yeah.
So
It'd be awesome if he was in Columbus.
You were tighter with them, too, because you were going to OU a decent amount in college.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there was that one point where I was going like every other weekend for that one girl. Which was, oh, God.
Who fucked up your face, right?
What?
Didn't that girl, wasn't that, like, weren't you visiting her when you fucked up your face?
Her sister fucked up my face. That was, I met her that night, and it was New Year's Eve. Were you at OU for that? I don't think you were.
I didn't think that was
a New Year's Eve. No.
I don't know.
Maybe I just went with Spears and Bill. It was like junior year. I met them, helped her get out of the bar, and she slipped on, because it's OU. They didn't do any fucking salting or anything. They don't fucking care. There's no fucking rules there. It's just vibes, man. And yeah, she slipped on the ice, pulled me and my arm underneath her, and I just face first right on the ice.
That's great. It's great stuff.
It was so bad.
To be young. And the thing is like, if that happened now, it's like your face is fucked. You probably fuck up your shoulder.
I immediately need to go to the ER.
Yeah.
I walked that off. Yeah, I didn't receive any sort of medical attention for that. I was definitely concussed. I just powered through it.
You're like, you know what would be good for this concussion? Alcohol. I bet that's good.
That's great for alcohol. That's great for concussions, man.
Just get me loaded, baby. Pretty young, dude. Your body is indestructible.
Yeah, I was indestructible.
You're indestructible. You can't be hurt. Nothing can hurt you. Crazy.
Pretty sure my nose is still broken from that.
Oh, fuck me. That's great.
With that, I think we're going to hit the theme music.
Talk about sports. Yes, sports. Talk about sports. Yes, sports. Talk about sports. Sports Tuesday. Talk about sports. Talk about sports. Sports Tuesday. Talk about sports.
Welcome, round two of our pop culture off-season pod. Eventually, I think we'll incorporate some fantasy stuff. But our next pod will be Academy Awards related, but we'll get back to that later. For today's podcast segment, or episode, I should say, we're calling this Career Corner. We've kind of introed this in the past, but this is the first time we've gone deep on this entire concept. So essentially, for folks who might not remember, Career Corner is Tom and I, two wildly less successful people than the all four we're about to commentate on, will kind of act as like the agent / managers of these folks. What we think they're good at. This is probably, Tom, I feel like our favorite topic. Like in Vegas,
this is a lot of fun. Yeah, this is a lot of fun to do.
Like of our Vegas conversations, I'd say 30% of them are kind of in this general world, I would say.
Yeah. Anytime someone new pops up, we instantly are just like, what do we want this person to be? What do we want that career to turn into? And which Marvel or DC character do we want them to be?
Truly. That's usually where it all ends up in the end. But it's really fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. I also think it's cool because I listen to a decent amount of like pop culture pods, like intermittently. I don't think anyone kind of talks like this as directly. And I just really enjoy it. I talk to Leslie about it all the time. It's one of my favorite. It's honestly literally one of my favorite things to talk about. So we're going to go one by one. So again, general format for how each of these people are going to go. Whoever intros, Tom and I each selected 2 folks each. We're going to tell a little bit about why we selected them, quick background, what we think they're good at, what we think they're not as good at, and then what we see, like where we want their 1 to 5 year plan, director, genres, roles, etc. Does that sound good, Tom? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you nailed it, man.
Okay, so let's get into it. So my first person, so like I said, 2 each. My first person, name is Xochitl Gomez. So Xochitl Gomez first appeared in Raven's Home in 2018. That was like her first. She's a Disney kid through and through. So see, she's I think it's important. Wouldn't you say, Tom, that like coming out of Disney, it's like coming out of like the Barcelona Youth Academy of Entertainment, right? The best child star. If you were the most talented person in your age group, there's a very good chance you're in the Disney ecosystem. Wouldn't you say at a young age, Tom?
You're either in the Disney or the Nick one, and yeah, it's
Right.
such a great place to learn. Just learn how to be an actor, learn timing, learn just the basics.
Yeah, stagecraft, like staging, who you are. I mean, it's just you're in LA. Like it's just where, even in this day and age, like I said, it's not as popular with the internet. You can go direct to media, but again, it's really hard. If you can just get the access to the resources and the network, it's just invaluable. She was in a Babysitter's Club 2020 Netflix show. Again, I had not seen these prior to her. My first introduction, which I'm guessing was yours too, was Erica Chavez in Multiverse of Madness. Was that your first introduction, Tom?
Yeah. Great character. She did a great job with that role, I thought. But yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen her.
And she was age 16 at that time. So she was the youngest actor or actress to portray a superhero in the MCU. So, like, again, I really do think a very, like, sports-related comp would be, like, Yamin Yamal in Barcelona. Like, this is a prodigy, in my opinion. Like, if you get cast into that sort of role at that age, there are a lot of people who are like, this woman is incredibly talented. Like, that's not, to get that sort of casting at that age is crazy.
And to be such an important character in the saga that they're doing. I mean, I feel like Chavez should have popped up a lot more. But I think the original plan was for her to pop up a lot more. I mean, it's called the Multiverse Saga. She's the only version of her in the whole multiverse, and she's the only person that can travel between the multiverse with ease.
Yes, and she will.
Got to be said with ease.
Yeah, and I think it's worth. I mean, and again, this is just like how fickle fame is. Like, she was just 2018 is just where the apple was starting to turn on the public's reception to Marvel. Like, she just if she had like started in 2014, I think she is a huge star. I think like she would have like if she could have gotten in that Phase 1 saga.
Yeah.
Or that first, I mean, it would have been, I think she would have been actually a huge star. Unfortunately, she gets caught in that. But I thought she was great I remember being really charmed by her. And she was my favorite part of Multiverse of Madness, which I liked as a movie, but I just really liked her. Really good. Then you didn't ever see her. So then I had seen her in that. And then she goes on Dancing with the Stars, which I know is kind of lame, but she was electric in Dancing with the Stars.
In this day and age, Dancing with the Stars can go a long way. And I gotta say, for her, she's one of the biggest stars to go on Dancing with the Stars. Especially when you consider, like, she was just popping off, and she goes and does Dancing with the Stars. Normally, if you're a big name doing Dancing with the Stars, it's because you've gotten older. Like, Andy Richter is a pretty big name in comedy. He just did Dancing with the Stars. He's also in his 50s. Right,
exactly. Yes, you're kind of usually, like, B-list athlete. But again, ABC obviously owns Dancing with Stars, Disney, so they like
She's in that universe, yeah.
They do this a lot with their young stars as like, hey, let's just get some of our young stars some national exposure. I think it was a really smart play by her team, and it accomplished the job because my wife and I are both like big fans of her now. Like, she was an elite dancer, super charismatic, awesome. She wins the season, and from then on out, between those two things, I was like, okay, now I'm going to follow her career. And unfortunately, that's where things kind of turn a little bit. She now is on Boston Blue, which is just some crime procedural, which is just dark timeline.
Is Boston Blue is it like NYPD Blue at all? Is it related to that?
I honestly don't
like with
think
Tom
it's
Selleck?
I don't think it's in like the NYPD universe,
okay.
But to give you an idea of what we're working with here, Donnie Wahlberg is the lead. It's yeah. I mean, it's
that's dark. Yeah, that's not great.
It's not great. I mean, we're talking straight CBS boomer bullshit.
Yeah.
It's rough. Like, And I saw her that she was on that, and I was like, okay, this is why I want to do a career corner with her. She's on her. She can't be on Boston.
That's bad.
Right.
That's not allowed. That's
So that's her background. Why I picked her is ultimately, again, I think she's a great example. Like, she would be like, remember your infatuation with Tom Cleverley back in the day for all our FIFA folks? Like, there are these young, precocious people who, if they don't get put on, J.J. McCarthy could be another example right now. If you don't put them on the right path, things can go really poorly. Yeah. And she's still so young and so talented, and I just feel like she really needs to right the ship correctly in these next times, or she might, like, miss the boat, you know?
Yeah, no, it's entirely possible. And that Tom Cleverley and hopefully not J.J. McCarthy, because he's still my keeper technically. Not like... But Tom Cleverley is a prime example. He had, a couple minor injuries, but he just never... He got stuck with a lot of consistent managers going in and out the door that liked him and didn't like him, and he just didn't get the minutes he needed to be a decent player. I definitely overhyped that guy. I called him the next Paul Scholes. He was nowhere near as good as Paul Scholes. Nowhere near as good. He could not ping a ball. He could not ping a ball wherever he wanted. Paul Scholes can hit a tree wherever. God, yeah.
We were young and dumb.
Oh yeah, and he had the same name as me. So what are they gonna do? Yeah,
but
he could have been a lot better.
Like, yes, and I do, and everyone who's listening to this in the league definitely knows an athlete or two that you thought they were going to be huge and they kind of screw up, and that's kind of what Sochi is right now.
I think we could call that the Bill special.
Yeah, true. Okay, so why I like Sochi? So what I think she's great at, just a really old school child star is what I associate with her. Just super charismatic, really charming, just youthful, exuberant. Just a light, just a shining light of charisma, old school, clean. I would say that if you're trying to think of someone, what would be her vibe right now to a child star? Do you think a past child star?
Ooh.
I was trying to think
it is hard to go to any child star and be like, oh yeah, this worked out for him. I'd say she has a very similar vibe to Daniel Radcliffe. She just hasn't gotten that fuck you money that Daniel Radcliffe... And Daniel Radcliffe has an amazing career now because he gets to choose whatever he wants and he enjoys whatever acting he's in. And he genuinely has a dream career. Zoshi, unfortunately, has to be on... she's probably got to be on Boston Blue just to pay some fucking bills. And that fucking sucks. That sucks.
Oh, yeah. If you don't hit Harry Potter, you end up on Boston Blue.
Yeah, you end up on Boston. Some people have to be on Boston Blue, okay? It's just some people got to do it.
Checks cash, baby. Those checks cash. So it's tough, and I think that, I think a little bit, she's not as, funny, but she gives a little bit of, Amanda Bynes a touch for me.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, the kind of silly, but still very charming. I think she's more talented than even Amanda Bynes was, but that's a little bit of, how I think, she's a little, that's kind of what I was thinking about, and just
she couldn't improv a joke, but she can deliver great writing.
Yes, agree with that 100%. So what she's in, so she has Cat in the Hat and Avengers Doomsday coming up.
Is that the animated Cat in the Hat, or are they doing another live action? Okay, thank God.
No, it's the animated Cat in the Hat. Yeah, she's doing it there.
Okay.
So that's for 2026, and everything beyond that is kind of open. So anything that you would like to call out in terms of what you think of her when you think of Sochi?
It's kind of hard just because I haven't seen so much of her, but I always just think positive, good vibes. I think she could be really good in a Tina Fey comedy playing the kind of like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, playing the naive, bright-eyed optimist. The Kenneth Parcell of 30 Rock type character.
Totally.
She could definitely do that. And she could do it. She would have been so good on 30 Rock as a young Paige, just ripping off just
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Tina Fey random jokes where that you don't realize are jokes until you actually think about what the fuck she just said. Which Kenneth is always so good at.
Tina Fey, 30 Rock is aged like fine wine. It's aged really well. But I would agree, and this is when we get into our 5-year plan. So she is in Doomsday. right? I mean, I know she's cast. She'll be in Doomsday.
That's actually pretty controversial for you to say. She is been confirmed to be on set, and
Okay.
and Variety has listed it, like, put it in her credits. If it's on Variety, that means you're in it, because there are several people that are in it that weren't in, like, the like, chair thing. Like, we knew that Chris Evans was actually going to be in it before that trailer dropped, because Variety had actually already said that, like, Chris Evans was there.
Okay. So, because I only say that because literally just off her Wikipedia, she is currently in it. So,
it would not have stayed on Wikipedia that long if
it's like been there for a while. Like, so that's what I was going off of. But you're saying it's a little bit more, like, it might not be any, like,
there's technically a chance that her role could be cut. I highly doubt it. She'd be a good use of a MacGuffin. I hate saying that. I hate that there has to be a MacGuffin in every Marvel movie, but there kind of does have to be, to work in the realm of, like, going between universes and stuff. Because theoretically, the issue in Doomsday is going to be between the main universe and the X-Men universe, kind of fighting it with the Fantastic Four stuck in the middle with Doom, and Doom kind of manipulating things. That's what a lot of people think is going to happen.
Okay.
She would be a huge part in that, because she's the only person that can go between universes. And even though Benedict Cumberbatch hasn't been confirmed for Doomsday, a lot of people are pretty sure he's going to be in it. They're just not sure that he's going to be playing our Doctor Strange necessarily, which could be really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're getting off topic though.
With Sochi, I would love to, like, and this is where your agent, like, this is why agents are just so critical, because, like, agents can play a huge role in, like, the massaging of roles, how big the role is, like, like, and I do think there's a very, like, if she has a good agent, I think your agent has a very compelling case to be like, look, she's young, she's super talented. There's no heart to this saga. Like if you're looking for, like, folks who, like, who could have, like, scene stealing time, like, she's one of the best. Like, they need, these Marvel movies need to be building up stars for the future. We can't just do this nostalgia bait, RDJ, Chris Evans bullshit third time around. Like, this is the last time we get to go back to this well. And, like, in that vein, it's like, can we get Sochi? Like, she's young, she's there, she's talented, she fits well. I feel like if her agent's advocating for her, she should have a big role in this movie. And if she doesn't, I would be looking for other representation, honestly.
At the very least, as long as she's filming a lot of scenes, if they're not necessarily all into it, which is, it's hard to, the editing for this movie, I would not envy that. I don't envy that dude in the slightest. But as long as she's shooting a lot of scenes,
correct,
she should be good.
And that's a great call out, Tom, because she just needs the reps. This is just like sports. I can't understand how much entertainment and sports are the same. And, like, it's like you want your reps with Benedict. You want your reps with Chris Hemsworth. Like, you in the same way a pro wants his reps in the NBA or, like, in the EPL, the high level reps are what bring you up. And just getting those, and, like, people are like, oh shit, she's good. What person's, like, she needs to be in acting across those people as soon as possible. And like you said, if it's in the movie or not, okay. But she needs to be in those scenes, at least being shot, Yeah. As far as that, like, outside of that, though, so, like, this is, like, the 1 to 2 year plan. She's in Doomsday. I've said this before, I put it in the notes, and you already kind of alluded to it. She'd crush in some sort of sitcom. Like Scrubs, if we could have gotten her in the Scrubs reboot.
She would have been so good as an intern in the Scrubs reboot.
So good as an intern, an incredible intern in Scrubs. She would have been she would be good in any Bill Lawrence project in general. Like, I know you're a big Shrinking guy. If she could have been, like, her college, like, Jason Segel's daughter's best friend when she goes off to college. Like,
that would work too, yeah.
She needs to be in that in the next 1 to 2 years, like, can we just get on a reoccurring role in something that's not, like, in a sitcom, in a heartfelt, nice.
I mean, Tina Fey's been working a lot too, so I would be trying to talk to whatever Tina's next thing is.
Great call. Tina Fey would be another great person. Like, I think, like, she's probably too young, and, like, I don't think people trust her enough to carry anything in the next 1 to 2 years.
Which is fair.
But yes, agreed. But let's just get her in a reoccurring role in something that people like and make them feel good, and I think she would absolutely crush that.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree.
I like the Tina Fey call, though. That would be that would get her a little bit edgier. I think Tina Fey's, and type of humor is a little edgier, a little smarter for me. Bill Lawrence, a little, not like dumb humor, but just like it's a little bit more like mainstream, a little bit more like warm, where like Tina Fey has the more like sharp political, like not political,
So,
but like political
you know, it
commentary.
shows where they come from. Bill Lawrence comes from like traditional TV stuff. Like his first, like he worked on, I can't remember what shows he worked on before he got Spin City, but he was working on shows before that. Whereas Tina Fey starts on SNL, which
Correct.
is an entirely different monster.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see, and I personally kind of prefer the Tina Fey style myself, but both are equally talented, and I think Sochi could do either or.
Yes. And that just shows her range too.
Yes, and I think that Tina Fey actually think would be better for her. I think it's better for her career. Because I think she's just so warm and charming and bubbly that you could almost get pigeonholed. So she could get a little bit more into like the Tina Fey world. I actually think I like that more personally than Bill Lawrence right now, but I would be fine with either.
Yeah, I would have liked to. I'd like to see her. You know, if Scrubs gets a season 2, I'd like to see her as an intern on that for just like a little bit, even just like a 3-episode arc, and then she leaves for whatever reason, and then she could get like the 3rd role on a Tina Fey show.
Yes,
I think she would crush that.
So next thing, so like, okay, so let's say that goes well. She's in Doomsday. Doomsday gets well. She's getting looks there. She's able to take, she gets this reoccurring role. 2 to 3 years down the road, she could start. Someone I really had in mind. Are you familiar with Renee Rapp and her stint on Broadway with Mean Girls?
Yes, I love Renee Rapp. I've listened to her on a couple podcasts, and she's just an awesome human being.
She's cool,
hilarious.
but honestly, like that Broadway stint did a lot for her. Like it was kind of big now, and like I would love to see her get something on Broadway. I know she can dance; she's an incredible dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she can sing well enough. She doesn't have like probably Ariana Grande talent, but she doesn't like. She's so. I think I would love for her to get on Broadway and kind of borrow that Renee Rapp model a little bit, and then like lighthearted romantic comedy, which is it's cliche, but she would crush it. Like let's just get something like there's like anything. It could be on Apple. I would prefer something. Stay away from Netflix for this. Something more on Apple TV. Let's do the lead in a romantic comedy. Something that people like. Apple TV seems to be kind of covering, like they do original content. I think they're doing it the best right now in terms of that kind of like hard.
I did not expect them, but they are like every time I watch like an Apple TV movie, I've enjoyed it.
They've done okay. They have like a certain, again, like the one that I am real like that I'm thinking of. Did you ever see the Ashley Olsen film with Miles Teller? It's called like Infinity.
Eternity. Yeah, no. I didn't watch it yet, but I've heard great things about it.
Super cute. And that's kind of like what I'm hoping she could get in there in a couple of years. Like 2 to 3 years, can we get her in that sort of role? I think she would do very well in there. And she's just meant to be like, Meg Ryan, Julia Roberts, Eva Mendes and Hitch. Like just that sort of like, those movies just go very well. You don't need to be attached to a great director for those films to work.
True.
And it's a good use of just like when you're that charming, charismatic, romantic comedies are always like a safe bet, in my mind.
No.
And then if that all goes well, then we can start a Marvel movie. Do you think that's in the cards 3 to 5 years later? Do you think?
Oh, yeah. I think she'll be in. I think she will be a big part of the Champions or Young Avengers, whatever they decide to call it. I think that core group is going to be her, Kamala Khan, who... Why is her name escaping me right now? Oh, that's embarrassing.
I don't know this woman.
Kamala Khan. Yeah, she was also... she was an unknown. She had done no acting before Miss Marvel. And crushed that role, and I truly can't see anyone else playing her. And now I can't remember. I just want to call her Kamala Khan, to be honest. Like I know I'm being technically insulting by not remembering her name, but I really just want to call her Kamala. Like that's just
Iman Alani is her name. It looks like is what I'm saying.
Yes, God, yes.
Yeah, she's awfully young.
But yes, it'll be her and Haley Steinfeld as Hawkeye and Dominique Thorne's Ironheart. Like I feel like that's going to be the core 4 of the Champions
Really? You
group.
think so?
Yes, plus Wiccan and Speed.
And you think they're going to go into a Young Avengers world? You think that's very like that film is on the horizon?
It's either going to be a film or a Disney Plus series.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope they learn from the. Well, no, I guess they've given a background on almost all these characters, so they could jump straight into a film with them, and they probably should. But it would be cool to get their dynamics shown through a Disney Plus show, and most of those characters were from Disney Plus shows.
Gotcha. And it's funny you say like Haley Steinfeld because like that's kind of in the like the 4 to 5+ year vision here is like I think like that when I think of her like her career comp could be Steinfeld because Steinfeld also was a Disney kid and then she had her big breakout with the Coen brothers in True Grit and she played like off Jeff Bridges. She did great in that role. Good little and like that where I think is like that's the role she really needs to be hunting is like that sort of young, precocious, tough. She won't play as exuberant. She'll play a little bit more like world worn and like I know this ways and I'm gonna like I think that's the role she needs to be hunting because that pretty much launched Steinfeld and now she's had a great career and I think that's where like in 5+ years that's where she needs like she comes off the Marvel commercial success that's where you're kind of hoping the next move is totally
yeah I like that for her.
Love Sochi. God bless. Get off Boston Blue, girl.
We gotta get. You can't be on the same show as Donnie Wahlberg. That's just not.
It's so depressing.
She play a cop in that, or is she? I feel like she still. I feel like she still plays relatively young. Is she playing a cop in that, or is she playing like the daughter of a cop?
Yeah. No, she's like an actual like on the PD on the force.
Oh,
it's weird.
That's weird for her. I feel like too. Yeah, I bet money.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, but I'm saying like that's why I wanted to do her because I'm like, guys, we can. This is like if you're taking Boston Blue rolls, things have dried up.
Yeah, no, that's not good. That's really not good. Any CBS show that's not a CSI. Like if you're doing the CSI reboot on CBS, yeah, you take that job. You take that job. Yeah, that's fair. But literally anything else, that's wild. That's a wild choice.
You can't go to
no.
Anyway, I love Sochi. Comes from love. I think she can be very, But that's kind of where I would like her career to be if I was on her team. What I would be thinking. So we'll pass it over to you. So this is an interesting one because Sochi is young, precocious, kind of an actor on the other end of like the Sochi journey, which is why I think this is like
he's like. So he'd be in like year 3 of Sochi's plan. I would say.
Yes.
I'd say that's kind of where he's at right now, and I feel like he just needs to make one more step. I'm gonna grab a Diet Coke real quick.
I mean, you better get a Diet Coke, Tom, before you.
We need to focus. We need our caffeine.
Amen. Well, yeah. Then I say you set us up for Dylan O'Brien. I doubt a lot of people know who's. Maybe they do. But I don't think a lot of people will know who Dylan O'Brien is. So maybe you want to.
They know who he is. They just get confused on his name sometimes, and they know his face. They're like, "I know that guy. I know that face," and they're just like, "I have no idea what his name is. Is it?"
Have you seen
you just get a string of white guy names, and you're just like, "He's one of these ones, right?" Yeah. Is it Adam Driver? Is he Logan Lerman? I don't.
Have you seen the SNL skit of is it Dylan McDermott or Gilbert Mulroney?
Yes, that's such a good one.
It's such a good bit, and that's it. Like they could do the same thing with Dylan O'Brien and Logan Lerman.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Anyway, So my guy is I did pick Dylan O'Brien, not Logan Lerman. Although when I was talking to Alec about this, I did say Logan Lerman, and I was like, so that's actually part of the plan. I promise.
That was hilarious when you were texting me. I was like, anyway, but they do look a lot alike.
They do look so alike, and they've acknowledged that too. I'm pretty sure it's like the Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe thing. Like they signed Frodo and Harry Potter for each other all the time, and I'm pretty sure Dylan O'Brien has signed as Percy Jackson for Logan Lerman, and Logan Lerman has had to sign whatever the name of the dude from Maze Runner is, because I don't know.
Yeah,
I did deep research for this, and I still can't tell you the name of the lead character in Maze Runner.
It's crazy that they both had major tentpoles attached to them too. It's
like almost the same time.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's a crazy career. Okay, anyway, so Dylan O'Brien.
Dylan O'Brien. He started off on Teen Wolf. If you ever had a little sister that forced you to watch Teen Wolf, he was Styles on that. He was probably your favorite character on that. I'm looking at Spears on this one. Spears probably had to watch Teen Wolf too. He was very good on that. And if you ever watch like the behind the scenes stuff or like press tours for that show, he is that whole group is just a great group of actors that are very funny people and just very charismatic. Dylan O'Brien kind of gets some stuff for being kind of like a highbrow actor dude, but from what I've seen in the industry, he's held with a high regard when it comes to acting.
Okay.
I'd say it's kind of similar to what like Miles Teller probably really thinks about it, or not Miles Teller, Shia LaBeouf. Two other people I get confused sometimes. Shia LaBeouf thinks of himself as a very highbrow actor, and I don't think anybody else thinks that about Shia anymore.
I think people ride or die for Shia.
There are people that ride. I mean, there are always going to be people that ride or die for Shia, but I think in the industry, people are like, "Oh, Shia's on this." Whereas nowadays, or with Dylan O'Brien, they're like, "Oh, Dylan's on this."
Sure.
Yeah. Even, I mean, Rachel McAdams said that she did the most recent movie, Send Help, because he was in it. Like, she really wanted to work with him. And if Rachel McAdams wants to work with you, that's a big fucking deal. He's had, after Teen Wolf, he got into the Maze Runner franchise, and he's good at playing, like, you know, just a hero-type character. I think he does better as a comic relief type hero than he did, like, the super serious one in Maze Runner.
Yeah, he played it pretty straight. I watched the first Maze Runner. It's. I mean, they're obviously just trying to binge off Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's just a Hunger Games ripoff. Just like Divergent and whatever the fourth nonsense one was that nobody knows that went straight to DVD or something. Yeah.
Yeah, youth adult fiction. There was a little once Hunger Games printed money. There was a lot of like, let's just churn out youth. That like, let's find But again, it's worth calling out that like. Dylan Bryan got selected. I mean, that's a big.
Yeah, so that was like, a big and remember, all he had at that point was basically just Teen Wolf, and he's like the third or fourth name on there, which is a big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a big like. It's I really want to emphasize like there are like people whose jobs and careers are like on this like there are hundreds of millions of dollars riding on him and his performances.
Yeah.
When you use roles.
There was a couple other kids on Maze Runner that I would say that like were really, really needed that to work out. Will Poulter was one of them.
Exactly.
He was in it. I can't remember the name of the sickly looking kid, but he's done well. He doesn't work so much in America anymore, but he does have a good career in the BBC. I can't remember whoever the British one was in Maze Runner. Again, I cannot. It is a hard franchise to watch. Me personally. I watched all the Maze Runner movies with an X, and that should have been a sign for me at that point that I'm like, she really likes these movies. Like Dylan's doing great, but
and again, the reason we bring this up is because like it happened to Taylor Kitsch with John Carter. Those movies didn't really work very well. It doesn't matter, and this is what I think is kind of unfair.
It's a big deal that they actually finished the franchise.
It's true, they did. It means it wasn't a total flop, but it didn't make the money. It didn't have the success that the folks were hoping, and then you get fundamentally put in like Hollywood jail. When that doesn't go well, people are like, "Sorry, didn't take." Like you can't overstate how much people who like how movies get made is because like it just didn't make the money we needed it to. We're moving on to someone else. Like that is such a foundational part to this, and like Maze Runner wasn't an outright failure, but it just wasn't.
It wasn't the success it needed to be. It wasn't a Hunger Games success, which is what he needed. Which is the difference between like why Jennifer Lawrence has been consistently busy, and he crazy talent. Jennifer Lawrence is an insane talent too. But
I agree though, where it still changes your trajectory of like she had, and you can't. You always say this all the time. You have the commercial success now. You don't have to worry about anything else. Like it's such an advantage when you're that young and you make that much money. You're unbridled, but you don't have to take the Boston Blue gigs. Like you can work with who you want to work with, and it changes everything.
It does. And I do think. I mean, it's harder to say now because we don't actually get full confirmation on what like some actors are getting paid. Like we know that Marvel just backed up a dump truck full of money for RDJ. We don't know how much of that. Probably 50% of that budget, if I'm being honest. But we don't know nowadays how much people are getting paid. We know that Daniel Radcliffe made enough money off those 8 movies to now do whatever he wants. I don't think Dylan O'Brien... He made good money off the Maze Runners because he was able to take a break for a while. Because he did also... It is important to note that he also did get hurt on the Maze Runner and then had to take a break. I mean, it was like a 2-year break, 2-3-year break from acting, which is also a big deal. But he didn't start getting roles again until about like 5 years after Maze Runner. So that 2
In the-
years says a lot, to be honest.
Oh, the last Maze Runner was when?
The last Maze Runner was when?
The last Maze Runner was when?
The last Maze Runner, I think, was 2018.
Okay, so he started packing up like COVID, post-COVID, like 2020, 2021.
Yeah. So during that, I'd say the biggest one he did was that Deepwater Horizon movie, which did
with
get some
Wahlberg,
nods.
right?
Yeah, that's the one about that sub disaster or whatever it was. He plays one of the guy's sons.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I remember that movie. I thought he was like an oil driller or something. Isn't that the? I thought that's offshore drilling oil rig. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And he was in it, and there. Yep. There he is. Yeah. Good to get attached to Wahlberg. He kind of prints money. His movies do very well. Peter Berg too, nice director. So he was in that, and I know he was in American Assassin too, which honestly I'd never heard of.
I had not watched either of those for this. I focused more on what he's been doing lately, just to kind of see where he's at now. But I did. They did get nods. Like he was. He never got like a negative word said about him on those movies. They didn't do super great at the box office. They made their profit, which again is a huge important thing in a movie, and should be said about Maze Runner too. Like it did make it made a profit technically.
Yes.
But lately he has been on a good comeback, I would say. His last two movies were Twinless and Send Help. I loved Twinless. I really recommend that to anybody.
I need to watch them.
Of all the movies that I could recommend right now, I would say Twinless would be the number one. Part of this genre that I've seen come up a lot more called, like, I would call social horror, which is just like a really uncomfortable situation happens, and then you spend the whole movie tense waiting for the confrontation to happen. It's like a Curb episode, except not funny. Like, except like real life, or like all that stuff that happens on Curb. Like if you were in that situation as Larry David, you would shit your pants. You would not want to be a part of that. You would not just be like, yeah, I'm going to say whatever I want in this situation. You'd be like, oh my God, everybody fucking hates me. That's exactly what happens in Twinless. And then Send Help was, I thought, a really good Sam Raimi horror movie. Rachel McAdams is excellent in it, and he plays off her super well. And both of those roles are really cool because it highlights his range. Because in both movies, he's kind of playing two roles. In Twinless, he's playing himself. He's playing one character and the twin. And they they found a really cool way to make sure that he did not have to play them at the same time and do any weird effects. I'm not going to spoil that for anybody, though.
Interesting.
Yeah. Title kind of gives it away, but you'll see. And then Send Help, that's just a horror movie which goes from, he kind of starts off as the villain and then becomes the victim and then goes back and forth throughout the movie. Again, I don't want to spoil too much about that, but it just shows that he's got a lot of range. And has the ability to work with both, really established, really high-profile directors in Sam Raimi and up-and-coming guys like James Sweeney for Twinless. Yeah,
and I also think it's like you said, he's really had kind of like this 2025 was a great year for him. And really? He could pretty much up until this year, he'd kind of been, we didn't even call out Cato Lake, which I actually did see, just randomly one time, which was not good either. So this is a big year for him. In the fact that he was able to get Send Help in particular, which to my knowledge did fairly well commercially and critically, didn't it?
Yes, it's doing really, it's been a big comeback for Sam Raimi in particular too. He's got that, and then he's got a new Evil Dead coming out that he is not directing; he's just producing.
Okay.
Unrelated there. I love that they're turning that into what I wish Star Wars had been, where it's just a different director each time doing whatever they want.
Dude, I love the new Evil Deads. I know they're not your tone as much, but they are definitely. I thought the newest Evil Dead was awesome.
Evil Dead was really fucking good. That was
awesome movie. I thought it was so damn good. And so huge. So I got to shout out part of this exercise, Dylan O'Brien clearly crushing. His team, great job getting him that Raimi project. Yeah. Really smart, great role, like you said.
I'm pretty sure Raimi came to him for that.
No kidding.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Raimi wanted him, which again says a lot. That
it does.
Yeah, Like even if the stories of him being like a little over the top are more than just exaggerations that he's doing for TikTok, who cares? Sam Raimi's calling you. That's awesome.
I agree.
That's
I
awesome.
did not know that. It's huge. I mean, that's a huge thing. Like you said, it speaks to his talent. Talent knows talent, and this has been good. Like so, this is why I think Dylan's interesting because this is like the exact like if you're on his team, these next years are super important for you because you built momentum now. Like you were kind of in Hollywood jail the last decade, pretty much everything since 2018. You've been kind of like a no-show.
Yeah.
And now 2025, you're crushing. So what do you think the next 1 to 5 years? What do you think it is looking like for him? I'm curious what you're thinking with this.
I think, well, for one, I would try to keep working with James Sweeney. I know that Twinless was only his second film, but I see a lot of potential in him as a director. And if he can turn that into like a collaboration that he does a la Scorsese and De Niro
Right.
or Scorsese and DiCaprio, either way.
Time. So what's Sweeney's vibe?
Well, I'd have to see his other movie first to know for sure, which I do have in my watch list. But I mean, I really do think he kind of focuses on like just socially uncomfortable type of things, like
It sounds good. I feel like
dark, like black comedy dramas almost. Because Twinless is very funny at times, and even like the confrontation, like it was really awkward and really uncomfortable for me personally. Just like sit in all that. But then there are just moments in there where he's like, where they're in the confrontation and you just like, haha, that was funny. And then like, oh, horror again. And you're like, oh no.
Okay. So is Sweeney young? Is he like relatively
Sweeney's
young?
Very young. I think Sweeney's honestly about our age.
Okay, nice. So that's huge. Yeah, like if you could just ride that. And Twinless has done well. I've heard of it like outside of you talking about it specifically. Yeah. I mean, there's so much content these days, but it has like kind of latched on in some way. So another thing you said, which is just music to my ears, you put in our notes, is landed A24 horror. You had
that would be He's clearly got the skills to do horror, and A24 is the best at. I would say A24 and Neon are probably the two best studios to work for right now.
I agree, Tom. I agree. They say Neon's the new A24.
Yeah,
that's everything I've been doing. Is like, but I still think. I mean, A24 did Marty Supreme. That was a huge win for them this year.
Yeah, that's a huge deal too, because that's the first time that they are gonna get. They've been getting more like critical success too, outside of just like the horror movie's great, but you're not gonna win any awards out for it outside of a Saturn Award, which is
money.
Great. I mean, Saturn Awards are great. They're the only things that give awards to horror movies, but that's it.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you loud and clear. It's important. It's like you can't overstate how much like credibility that gives you as a studio when you start winning there. That's why Netflix and Apple tried so hard to get it. Just like immediately vaunts you to a certain level of like, okay, I can work with those people over there.
Yeah.
What would he be like? Why do you think a horror lead specifically? Like, what is he like? What do you think would lend himself to that?
I think. Well, A24 horror films are always just so complicated. He could do something. Yeah, I mean, he could do something in that where whether he's playing like two different roles, whether he's going from the victim to the villain by the end, or whatever they want, he has that toolkit to do whatever they need. So it doesn't really even matter which A24 director he chooses. They will be able to work with him probably in some way.
And you're just saying take advantage of the range inside of that, and like a horror movie just like would give you maybe the most creative, like you could go a lot of different, you could really be.
He could really swing for the fences there, and it's an A24 movie. It will make money almost no matter what, because the budgets for them are very reasonable. And
well, and he's still in that time of he can be gotten for a reasonable amount as well. And A24 just has such like, especially among movie nerds, like has such a cult. Like I pretty much sign up for every A24. I will pretty much see everyone for the most part.
It's almost like the new Pixar in terms of like whatever they make, I'm gonna go see.
I'm just gonna go check it out. I agree. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So then you were thinking after that, you had an interesting idea, which I was like, this would kind of set me for a loop. I'm gonna be honest.
The Chalamet comp. We just keep going with that for a second. Yeah. So. Normally I would say, nowadays, I've always loved the idea of one for them, one for you. And nowadays, if you're going to make money in acting and do well, you almost certainly have to be in Marvel or DC. That's where the money is now.
A lot of money there.
And that's fair. It used to be blockbusters, it used to be westerns, and now it's superhero movies. I I think he should try to avoid that for the time being. I think he should try and, if there's a high concept Star Wars movie coming out, like if Rian Johnson gets to make his trilogy, I think Dylan O'Brien could be really good in that. Basically something that's more akin to Dune. I like that Chalamet did Dune instead of like a Marvel movie, if that makes sense.
Totally.
I feel like that fits his vibe a lot more than doing...
It does.
I mean, he would be really cool as Harry Osborn opposite Tom Holland, but that's kind of the only role I can see Chalamet in. And I don't really see Dylan O'Brien in a lot of roles other than like a recurring villain role, but I'll get to that in a second.
Do you think he's my thing is like, do you think he'll ever get a chance to lead one of those again?
That's what sucks. Yeah, I don't know how many of those are left out in the world. I know that Wheel of Time is coming, I think from Amazon, but I don't know if they're doing movies or a series for that. Like that's the only other big sci-fi or fantasy tentpole I could see him joining in. But are
you thinking that any of these he's leading them, or is he like? Is that kind of the goal? Is that what you think what you should be shooting for? Is leading the tentpole, or do you think, or like?
I mean, Maze Runner would probably make someone apprehensive about him leading it. I do think he could lead it. I think he'd probably be better though as the third name on the call sheet.
That's kind of what I think.
The Han Solo of the franchise, or
Jason
Momoa's character in Dune, something like that.
Great call. And that's kind of where I was thinking, like, I'm not saying that he couldn't do it. I just think you kind of get one shot at those. Yeah. And if you miss...
And you don't want to be John Carter.
Right.
As much as we love Taylor Kitsch, he's still Tim Riggins.
Right. He's great.
And he'll never star in a Hollywood movie like that ever again. They'll never give him that.
They'll never... And so, like, I just don't think it's, like, realistic for him to ever get those in the next years. But I think... I think the Jason, like, obviously he's not playing that role, but role.
But the third name on whatever it is. I did actually just now think of this as, I'm going to expose myself a little bit here. If they ever make a movie series for the Court of Thorn and Roses romance thing that's been going on pretty well, or pretty big recently, yeah. You read that one? I know you.
I never did.
No, I do have the first one. Sam and Alec convinced me to try it, and I got to say the world building for it is pretty nice.
It's a good concept. That's a good concept.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a huge. I mean, it's not the high concept Dune that we're doing here, but that could be another way to consistently make money and then go do weird A24 shit or James Sweeney shit.
Right, and I think that's why, like, you're going to see this reoccurring theme of, like, one for them, one for me, and like, that's going to kind of always be the flavor whenever we do these, but just, like, it's hard, like, the variation you can have in the one for them, one for me is so wide, and, like, you essentially always want to have one that you make money fun, one that you can, like track your creative idea,
and you want to make sure you stay within your skill set. And because you always want to swing. You can swing for the fences with the small stuff, but you got to make sure that you have a consistent brand and you can keep doing what you're doing consistently. And that's also huge for acting. It's a skill. It's a muscle that you train and keep doing. If you do a bunch of wild shit like Nicolas Cage, you kind of lose that muscle.
Totally. And I think that, like, it's also too. It's like, again, I make these athlete comps because I think it's easy for people to understand. When you come into the league and you're like Anthony Edwards and you can dunk on everyone, that's awesome. Keep dunking on everyone, but then you're also going to need a mid-range game. You're going to need a little post-up game. You're going to need a three-point shot. And, like, you build those in, like, the regular season games that don't matter. And then in this world, the regular season games that don't matter are those small wins that, like, my mom's not going to go see any of those movies, but me and you will see, casting directors see it. And that's where you can kind of, you build up your, like, variability there,
he needs to be in movies that will, like, that's something that, like, Christopher Nolan would go see. Because he only has the time to go see, like, 2-3 movies a year. He's going to go see whatever interests him the most. And that's probably going to be some weird shit.
Yes. So we're going to, you got to get to your closing take here, because I thought this was great. But I know we're going,
we're going to close. So the comp that I had for him was important for him and Lerman to be in contact with each other, because my comp for him was Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman.
Great.
Because they are also are well noted to look exactly the same because George Lucas decided to cast them both in Star Wars to play people that looked exactly like each other. And then somehow, these two women in the 2000s in Hollywood managed to have two incredible careers. They both have separate Wikipedia entries for their filmography, and they look exactly the same. And they have such different careers, and that's what he needs to do with Logan Lerman. They need to have different careers. They need to occupy different niches, and that's also why it's such an important thing for him to, find that consistent blockbuster role to stay in that lane, or not necessarily stay in that lane, but build his brand, I guess.
Totally. And that's why I think like the Knightley Portman comp is so good, because like they like you said, they both looked exactly the same. So they're competing against each other all the time.
Constantly.
Especially early on. Constantly. The same roles. And like you have to find like, do you want to be competing in that same space? Portman kind of went the more like prestige route. Keira Knightley obviously went the more like commercial route. Either is fine. Neither is better than the other. But it's just important that you kind of isolate it quickly where you want to go, or otherwise you just kind of end up in the nothingness of like, oh, like Keira Knightley, like Portman, Dylan O'Brien, Logan Lerman. So, it's really bad if you can't get that.
I would say it's almost kind of like, they don't quite line up well, but I would say Shia LaBeouf and Miles Teller are kind of probably like the model to not go. I mean, Shia obviously has his issues aside from his skills as an actor, but we only hear about Miles Teller nowadays.
Totally, like 100%.
And to be honest, I could have seen Shia in Whiplash. I could have seen Shia in Top Gun Maverick, and I could have seen. Yeah, they could have all done the
Shia LaBeouf, Indiana Jones. They wanted to give.
I would have loved to have Miles Teller be that. They probably would have kept him alive for the fifth one. Yeah.
It's such a good point, and this is like a thing where it's like you will get market corrected. Like, and I call it all. It's like just like business. Like if your product, I know it sounds shitty, but it's like the Shia LaBeouf product was not hitting it the way it needed to be. So Miles Teller, like, okay, I'll hit it. And he hit it.
He went in. He went in that role and crushed it.
And now it's over.
Yeah.
And like you can't. And now Shia is like more in like the kind of like funkier role, but it's like you have to carve out your lane quickly, and you have to own it. Otherwise, you get market corrected, like Miles Teller did Shia, or or you could go the Natalie Portman route, Knightley Portman route, where it's like separate careers. We're doing different things now, and that's great.
Yeah.
You have to get there quickly. Otherwise, it just kind of you turn into like soup, more or less.
Yeah,
great.
And then it just becomes
love that. Love him.
He's great. I do think he's going to have an incredible career. And I really do hope he keeps working with James Sweeney. I really do. I really liked that combo.
I need to watch Twinless. Okay, next one up.
Yeah, your second one. I'm so excited for this one because I get to. You're gonna have to rein me in when I start talking about his most recent one because I'll just fuck it.
Okay, so it's so funny that I feel like Challengers was such an important movie in my life, even though I don't even like the movie. So Josh O'Connor, classic guy.
This is the second Challengers, brother.
I can't stop thinking about Challengers. It's crazy. Okay, so Challengers, not Challengers. Josh O'Connor, born in England, classic, trained in theater school. That's like we love that. We love guys trained.
It's so awesome. It works so well every time, and
they are so good. It's such a nice thing. We just don't do that in America.
That's the true La Masia, is going through the BBC program, basically. That is honestly true. So yeah, he's doing the BBC thing and a few British breakthroughs, God's Own Country, The Durrells. I did not watch either of those. His biggest American recognition was in The Crown. He played Charles, Prince of Wales. I saw him a little bit. My wife watched a little bit of The Crown. I saw him in that. I wasn't a big Crown guy, but The Crown was a very successful show. He was very good in that show. I noticed him then just because it seemed to be like women really liked him, even though he's not like traditionally handsome. I would say, no,
but he did seem like,
I would say that too.
But there is a vibe to him that I think people find very compelling. So he's kind of doing the Crown, and then he has then he does this movie called La Chimera, which was Samantha Kane, Samantha the Palms. Generally considered, I had never heard of it prior to doing this.
Who was the director for it?
Her name is Alice Rohrbacher.
Okay.
She's a very acclaimed director. In this movie, Tom, honestly, my wife and I did not think this movie was going to be very good. Not that it wasn't going to be good, but it was just going to be a little slow.
Right.
This movie is great. It's kind of like a modern day adult fairy tale. I mean, it's an awesome movie. It's completely like whimsical and amazing. I was stunned by it. And he plays a sort of like, so I think it's interesting. I do want to start with his strengths before we get into the rest of his movies, because what I think O'Connor is great at is he there's a real weight to him in his movies. There's a real like sort of existential sort of like there's moodiness is too light a word. So if you think of like Timothy Chalamet and Dune, he plays kind of like, I'm a little moody, but I'm like a young moody. Where like Josh O'Connor is more angsty, and it's more like
he's seen some shit.
Yes, all of his roles have this like I've seen in the.
He is so good at just telling you his backstory with his face. Like
I agree.
I honestly didn't need to know in Wake Up Dead Man that his priest used to be a boxer or live on the street or anything like that. You can just fucking see it.
Well, and that's why in La Chimera and Mastermind, so these are his four. La Chimera, he's kind of like this drifter. He's dealing with this existential crisis around like, I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but essentially the life that he's living is philosophically opposed to who he thinks he is. And he just carries this like weight with him because of that. And then he did this movie called The Mastermind, which is another great director. And he plays, both of these movies, La Chimera and The Mastermind, he doesn't say a lot of words. He's really emotive in his face. And he's like Joel Edgerton in that sense, where he can communicate a tremendous amount just by his eyes. He's a really talented actor. Like probably the most talented person I think on this list of today. He's just an eye popper. Like, he is incredible to me. So he does that, and then he does. We'll get to Wake Up. So then he has Wake Up Dead Man, which we'll dedicate its own time to, and then he was also in, like I've already covered, Challengers, which is his most against type movie, where he's essentially playing like the dick douche hot alpha, which I think he was just horribly miscast in. He's not traditionally handsome. He's kind of tall and lanky. It was I think that movie failed because 2 out of the 3 people were miscast in roles they should never play again. And I just don't think that's what he's great at. I think that's what we'll have to keep in mind for the rest of his career is like, I don't want him to be in that sort of, I don't think he'll ever be like a Brad Pitt, or like he's never going to be in like carrying a blockbuster movie. That's not going to be in his repertoire. I just don't think he's charming enough. But that brings us to Wake Up Dead Man, a huge movie, one that he crushes, and I'll let you take the floor on this because I know you.
Oh, he's so fucking good in it. I mean, it's so easy to play. I personally think it's so easy to play a priest that's like challenging their religion, because I feel like we've all it's such a universal thing. Whether you are actually super religious or not, you question your belief at some point. Whether you were super young or later in life, whatever it is. But he does it so well, and does something that you don't see happen a lot in Hollywood, in my opinion. Usually, you either see they confront their religion and they decide it's bullshit and that they're just going to be a good person for the sake of being a good person. I would call that the traditional Hollywood liberal leftist bullshit. It's the woke religion nonsense. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Or you get the Angel Studios route where they're like, you question your belief for all of 5 seconds, and then a man tells you, God said it's fine, so everything's fine. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, like, this is a super common trope. Obviously, I'm a horror junkie. How many times you see, like, a disillusioned priest who then has to go exorcise a demon? I mean, I've seen probably that, like, a dozen times. They use that all the time.
It's all the time. Yeah, and then they find their faith again, and it's and it's
Catholicism is always just like, people love Catholicism on screen. It just looks
it's propaganda for priests.
And it's classic stuff. But he, like you said,
he walks a perfect straight line down the middle of it, though.
He does. He nails it.
And he just nails it. And I think that's so hard to show that type of vulnerability and anger and resentment and I feel him experiencing every single emotion throughout this movie while going through easily the worst, 48 hours of his fucking life.
Right. And I think, like, the reason Wake Up Dead Man works and Challengers doesn't is because, like, you just nailed it best, where he plays, like, a quiet, seething anger very well.
Yes.
Like, he's not, like, an explosive anger like Tom Hardy. Like, I think he plays, like, Tom Hardy can give you, like, over the top, like, bait, like,
rage.
Rage. Yes, that's a good call. where his is far more subdued, bordering on like they say like depression is rage turned inward. And that's kind of where he lives, in a little bit of that, like, I'm angry, but I'm redirecting that anger inward. I'm not putting it out. And it's a superpower. Like, and I think, like, using it in the context of, like, a priest, it was just,
it seems like such a no-brainer role, or, like, I guess, type character to have play that type of repressed anger. But it's just such a interesting and clever way that they do it. And Rian Johnson's a great writer, and I feel like Josh O'Connor delivered really well on that writing, which is something that I had like an issue with Glass Onion. I don't think everybody in that movie delivered super well on the writing.
Right. No, I agree.
But Josh O'Connor, I feel like Josh O'Connor will pop up in another Rian Johnson movie.
For sure.
That's how good I think he did in this.
And I think another thing about Josh O'Connor that's worth calling out is, I think another reason why he works in Dead Man 2, Wake Up Dead Man, is because, like, in Challengers, I think either him or Zendaya needed to be, and I think it was probably him that needed to be the I'm bringing it actor, right? Like, in every scene, you always want to think about who's bringing it and who's receiving the energy, who's bringing the energy, who's reacting to the energy. Like, every scene has to kind of have, sometimes you can have two people going for it, like in Heat. That's like the most common example of, like, you have De Niro and Pacino at the same time going for it. That can be really fun. But for the most part, you want someone bringing it and someone reacting to it.
You can't have two people receiving. That's the only scenario that doesn't work. You can't have just two people just sitting there basically that are both waiting to react to something.
I think O'Connor, like, so I watched The Mastermind, which was like a very slow film, like even by my standards, very slow. And I don't think that movie, the director is very talented, and I think that's what she's trying to communicate. But the movie just felt very like stilted and very like I'm checking my watch, because I think O'Connor, the reason he works so well in like Wake Up Dead Man is it's a mystery, so it's just naturally propulsive. Like the momentum of the movie can kind of carries a lot of the energy. On top of it, you have Daniel Craig. He's a co-lead type thing. I think that works great for him too. Yeah. Where Craig is bringing the like foghorn leather, well, my goodness, like all that stuff.
I'd say this is the most that like the non-Benoit Blanc character has acted in the Knives Out movies. Yeah.
That's no doubt. But I think it was a good idea to have them kind of co-lead the movie. I think it was really smart. It's a good use of O'Connor, who I'm still hesitant around, like, I'm the guy bringing it in every scene. I'm carrying this. Yeah. I think that's where Challenger struggled, because he was supposed to be the guy that both Zendaya and Mike Face wanted to have sex with, and it's like he just wasn't bringing that. At least for me, but in this sort of like co-lead movie, like I think it worked really, really, and like the synergy between and like the cohesion between Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor was really strong. I thought the whole time,
they played off each other really well.
And so that's what I want to carry into like the 1 to 5 year plan. So obviously, just classic stuff. Next year, 2026, he's in Spielberg's Disclosure Day.
That's going to be huge for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, you don't even need notes. Like, Spielberg, the Coens, Tarantino.
No, you say yes to that. Even you just got to pray that it's not like... I'm trying to think of that crappy Scorsese movie that fucked some dude over.
Silence? Was that the...
Silence. I think it was The Silence.
Was that Garfield? That
was Garfield. And I don't think Scorsese's worked with Garfield again. I think that happened around the same time as Amazing Spider-Man 2 too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, they were like 2 years after. Yeah, and that was just not a great time for Garfield. I don't think he had a whole lot till Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah, no, he kind of went on. He was in jail there for a while. But yeah, look, but I mean, he's in Disclosure Day with Spielberg. No, it's great. You take that job every time. And then he's in Jet with Spades, the new Joel Coen movie. So you can't go wrong here. You work with those directors every chance you get.
So that's the Joel Coen that's part of the Coen brothers, correct?
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Because there is a single Coen out there who is not related to the Coens at all. And I'm pretty sure that he's gotten movies made just because of his name, and he's not that great.
It certainly can't hurt. No, but this is not that one. So he is doing Joel Coen. This is of the Coen brothers fame. His Yeah, so they used to work a lot together, and then Joel might be the not as talented one. I hate to say that. I mean, they're both obviously very talented. He directed the Tragedy of Macbeth Apple TV's thing.
Okay.
That didn't go very well, and I tried to watch it, and
I don't think they're super great showrunners, to be honest. The Coen
yeah,
I mean, Fargo's great, but I don't think Fargo's great because of them. I think they take a much more hands-off approach to that, because that's mostly Noah Hawley, I think.
Okay, so Tom, I really talked up this comp, and I'm freaking jacked. And I
am so excited.
I did not come up with this comp. Okay, this was actually my wife and I, because I was kind of struggling. I was like, okay, Les, like she's watched all the movies that I've watched. I was like, I talked with her a lot. I think, and she came up with this comp. She didn't come up with the actor's name. She just like, what about this guy? And I was like, holy shit, you nailed it. Okay, I think that Josh O'Connor is Jeffrey Wright. The guy Felix Leiter of Casino Royale, American Fiction, Westworld, Jim Gordon and Batman. He should just
the Priest and Wake Up Dead Man.
Yes, he should just copy his career. Literally, just do his career. And I think that
that's such a good one.
It wasn't it good. My wife
so
came up with it it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. As soon as she said it, Josh O'Connor should just be Jeffrey Wright. It was like shot out of the heavens. I was like, yes. Because here's the thing: Jeffrey Wright is honestly just an amazing career from Jeffrey Wright. Just a really great career.
Yeah.
So he gets the Basquiat. Yeah, he gets the Basquiat role, and he plays Basquiat, which is a big deal. He plays that in '96. Obviously, speaks to his this guy can act. Jeffrey Wright is crazy talented.
And here's the thing: getting that type of role as a black actor in the '90s is a huge fucking deal, because that means you probably beat out Denzel, Don Cheadle, and Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
Because they were at it was really hard. I would say it was really hard to be a black guy in the movies at that time. And you'd have and then you go to the comedy side and you're competing with Eddie fucking Murphy. You're competing with Chris Tucker. So that speaks a lot to his talent.
Yes, and so he gets this role, and so it speaks to his talent, and then the guys his team, just brilliant roles across the board, right? So this is the exact sort of guy when we say one for them, one for me. It's Jeffrey Wright's filmography. So he gets obviously he's in the Hunger Games. He plays BG in the Hunger Games. He plays Jim Gordon in the newest Batman movie. He's really found a lot of love with Wes Anderson. He's been in 3 or 4 Wes Anderson movies.
He also does a lot of voiceover work. That's a great way to do. Yes. That's a great way to actually do both of those in one sometimes.
And then he led American Fiction in 2023. That gets an Academy Award nomination for Best Picture. He carries the film. He's great in it. So his career is great, but also just their energies that they affect, I think, are very similar. Yes. I think Jeffrey Wright has the same level of there's a weight to him, there's an intelligence to him, there's a grace to him, but a toughness too. He just gets a lot of the quiet seething. I can play angry, but it's internalized, and I'm also very smart, and I have thoughts on things. I just think that they're just such similar actors to me. It's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah, no, especially with them being in the same movie like that. It's almost more like a passing of the torch now. I mean, I was just excited enough to see Felix Leiter and James Bond on screen together again, even though it wasn't them. But still, that's exactly what he should do. Jeffrey Wright, you're absolutely correct. I think he is arguably the best example right now of one for them, one for me, and crushing it too every time.
The thing that I think is what I like about Jeffrey Wright is so I think the reason he plays usually he's smaller roles, right? He's Jim Gordon, Asteroid, Jim Gordon the Batman, but those are commercially successful roles that he always does a good job of. He's found some creative synergy with Wes Anderson. He's been in Asteroid City and French Dispatch and The Phoenician Machine. It's pretty much now just on standby for Wes Anderson.
He's part of that stable now, which is a good stable to be in. One of the best ones you can pick.
Yep, you're connected in there, and then on top of that, you also have he carried a movie, American Fiction, that was commercially and critically successful. And that's why I think I just think Josh O'Connor needs to be very selective of the movies he chooses to carry. Like
Yeah.
he can't just lock onto anything. And I think that even what's even crazier is like when he does lock in, I think it needs to be a role similar to American Fiction. Where did you see American Fiction?
I think so, but it's been a long time. It's been a
Never
long
seen-
time.
Right, like is a black author, and he writes, and he's like sees a bunch of black literature that he thinks is like exploitative and bullshit, and he writes one to parody that, and then it actually becomes very successful, like on its own.
Okay.
Right. Like
I
he writes
have not seen it then. Yeah,
he writes it
but that sounds
ironically,
great.
but successfully on mainstream. So it's a pretty like heady movie, and so and he plays kind of like this cynical, like depressed guy, and I think that that's like a role that I think Josh O'Connor should like lean into a role with cynicism where it's like there's a decency inside of Josh Connor, but I also feel like it's paired with like a cynical, like I've seen some shit, like you said, and that's like when I think you should kind of carve out the sort of like small co-leads in commercially successful movies, and then you're hunting for that like cynic, like hardened cynic who's trying to be hopeful but is struggling, and whatever, I think that's where I really want Josh O'Connor to live,
Yeah. That really is such a good comp.
It is. I know. I was so thrilled with that comp. Again, I wish I could come up with it, but Leslie, she was like, "What about?" So we actually watched that shitty Spike Lee movie called Highest to Lowest, which was terrible. But she was like, "He was really good in that." I was like, "Oh my god, you're so great!"
And that's
And
it.
she's like,
Yeah. That's the one
Yeah,
for that's the one for him.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, but it was great. Yeah. So I nothing but love for Josh O'Connor. Nothing for love for Jeffrey Wright. Just to like, and yeah, I would literally, and like you said, like it's so funny that they were in Wake Up Dead Man, and I'm like, he should just take his career, literally
just follow what he does. Just
yeah, he did it.
You should be the next Bond. You should be in the next Bond, but you don't have to be Bond.
Yes. And hunt for that like cynical like movie where like you're a cynic and you're on your own journey and whatever role that looks like. But I do think that's I just think that I don't think Wake Up Dead Man was good. And it's important for any role he has where like the reason Wake Up Dead Man I think he's so good is because there's also like he's a very decent man in that movie. Like that scene where that woman is struggling and he just like the movie we talked about that. Yeah. And it just comes to a halt and Josh O'Connor's like, I need to do this. It was such a great note in the film and it was a good use of Josh O'Connor who you really believe would do something like that in the cinema.
Yeah. No, he really
and Jeffrey Wright at the same level of like decent. You just believe them to be decent. Okay, so that's my comp. So we'll move on to the final person.
Our last person here.
Great comp.
Who's someone I think is probably. I think she's following what I'm going to suggest for her already. Hopefully, but I think like her next role is going to be truly make or break for her. Unfortunately, which it shouldn't be. She should be well established by now, but. I think she really got hurt by not being in Deadpool and Wolverine. So the person I've got is Zazie Beetz. She first started on Atlanta and had some bit parts in some indie movies. She's so good in Atlanta.
So good in Atlanta. I mean, so good.
She's
Lights out.
Yeah. Absolutely crushes that. She was also in a Netflix anthology called Easy for a couple episodes. Her first big role was in a movie called Solar's Point, and I think in the same year, she was in Geostorm, which was a gimmick movie where
sounds like a gimmick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most of the time they're on like FaceTime or something like that. It's a weirder one, but she was starting out. She had to get roles that she could. Those were the like indie parts that she had, and then Atlanta happens, and then she breaks out big with Deadpool 2 as Domino, who's a huge comics character, and she was also in the Joker movie.
I liked her in both of those, but I really liked her in Deadpool 2.
She was great. She is a perfect Domino.
Really, yeah. Like I think it was a really good choice by her to be like she played like so like she plays like apathetic, too cool for school. Really,
really well. I'd say that's her best skill is to just play a zero fucks given type character.
Yes, she's really good at it. She just plays it like she kind of had variations of that in Atlanta, but she even dials it up more in Deadpool.
Oh yeah, in Deadpool she cranks it up to 11.
She cranks it up, and it still works, and she's still really good. Yeah, just I mean, I really like, and you're right. She was also really, I did enjoy her too, in not Deadpool 2, but
the Joker movies. Yeah, I mean, I personally didn't see Joker 2. I don't think I ever will. She was
bad, but she was good in it.
Yeah, I figured. I was shocked that she was even in it because I would have thought her role would be done, but good for her for coming back. I thought she was good in Joker 1. I thought that showed some range for her too. She's playing someone that has to give a lot of fucks in that movie.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, agreed.
And I think she does that relatively well, even though her role is still kind of small and mostly more built up in Arthur's head, obviously.
Yes, 100%.
In between there, she does some indie hits. In particular, I really liked Slice. That's the Chance the Rapper movie.
What was it?
Slice. So it's about people that work at a pizza company, but in this small town there are zombies and ghosts and werewolves, and everybody just treats it like it's normal. She actually plays a ghost in that movie and dies in the first 5 minutes, but you don't even realize it for another 10, because when you become a ghost, you just kind of keep going about your day, and you don't realize it until you see your body on the ground or something like that.
Oh, that's kind of...
Yeah, and Chance the Rapper plays a werewolf, which is just fun. It's just a fun little, it's a very campy type horror movie, which is why I liked it. It was very Sam Raimi.
Yeah, you love a campy horror movie.
I could love it. Yeah, I can eat that up all the time.
Evil Dead 2 is it's imprinted on your taste.
Yeah. She's also done a lot of voice roles lately. The big one right now that she's doing is she's Amber on Invincible, which
she is.
She was obviously a lot bigger role in that before, but they brought her back a couple times. Even though I'm not even sure that happens in the comics, I think they just like Zazie Beetz and want to keep her around.
Yeah, and I would say we haven't talked a lot about voice actors, but that's just good work if you can get it. It's just it's a good way to kind of practice. It's kind of getting it's less visibility. You're not obviously the reward is a lot less, both financially and commercially, but it's also just good to practice your craft, make some money. It's just a nice way to handle all that.
Voice acting nowadays is essentially the same as acting because they need you to really get into it for these characters because it's held in such higher esteem now, which is awesome and great. And that's why we have a lot of big name actors doing voice actor roles, and why, unfortunately, a lot of really good voice actors don't get as much work.
True.
So moving on to her more recent stuff, she was in, I want to say 2022, she was in The Harder They Fall and Bullet Train.
Bullet Train, which I did watch. I like
Bullet Train is fantastic.
It's a good movie. Great little movie.
Yeah.
It's a little. It kind of reminded me a little. Do you remember the movie Smokin' Aces? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah. No, it's a Smokin' Aces movie.
It's a Smokin' Aces. People kind of took the Tarantino thing and were it was there was a Hemsworth movie. It was Fast Time. It was the hotel movie.
Fast
Times at Hotel High or something, or
Fast Time. It was not Fast Times at Ridgemont High. No, you're thinking.
But it had that sort of rhythm of a title to it. But yeah, I call these movies Tarantino ripoffs. They're fine. They're
Guy Ritchie loves this space to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of people took the whole let's make a violent movie with fun, brash characters getting into shenanigans. And you said Guy Ritchie, Bullet Train, they're fun. They're fun movies. You can't go wrong with them. And Bullet Train obviously had our guy ATJ. We talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
Just a fun movie, and good decision by her. She was just a good choice to be in that movie.
No, yeah, she does. Her role is super small in it, but she does such a great job with it. And I feel like milks every little bit out of that character, does the absolute 100%. Most with it in the best way possible. Bad Bunny's in that too. She technically has less screen time than Bad Bunny, but is just as memorable as he is in it.
100%. Yeah, she's great. And you said something in here that I think you're so right. She kind of has a weird taste, which I really like about her. Like,
Yeah,
she's on a different path. Like, and that's why I think she's an interesting career corner person because, like, I'm not sure she even wants to be like a big A-list star.
No.
Like, I don't think that's really like her intentions.
No, I think she likes these types of roles more. I'd like to see her do more of it and do it more often. The other role that she had was the other movie that she did, The Harder They Fall, which was a really good movie, to be honest. And it made me really sad that Jonathan Majors is the way he is.
Oh,
he crushes it.
That's
he
right.
crushes it. And Idris Elba's in it, and Idris Elba's so fucking good in it.
Everything.
Regina King was great in it too. God, and Lakeith Stanfield's in it. He fucking crushes it. And
don't forget our boy Delroy Lindo also just
everybody in that movie just fucking crushes it. Like, I really hope that James Samuel, I think I said that right, keeps making movies like this. And I would say it's a very similar Tarantino vibe to it. It is a spaghetti western essentially, but it's a black revisionist western technically, kind of like Django Unchained, but I think says a lot more than Django does, which is cool. But she's again playing a character that's kind of weird, gives zero fucks about stuff.
She's good at that.
Unfortunately, she just gets sidelined as a hostage for a good part of it, which just because I want to see more of her.
And I think that's why you're right. Where this like movie, They Will Kill You, it's pretty big for her career. Like, because like pretty much every role she's had up to this point, she's always been in a supporting role in some capacity, right?
Yeah, she was like that too in Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, movie that's out right now. Highly recommend anybody go see that too. It's the first movie that Gore Verbinski has made since the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
I know, which is crazy.
Just awesome.
I didn't realize Gore Verbinski is such a weird guy. Like, I honestly thought he was just kind of like a studio, kind of like just like a studio,
like a just
director.
Plug and play dude. But no, he's a weirdo. And I love it.
He's a weirdo, yeah. Like, that's why I'm excited. I didn't realize like that before, and that's why I want to see Good Luck, Have Fun, and Don't Die, because it sounds like Gore's kind of getting back to his weird roots.
Yes, I would honestly say that movie has probably my favorite ending. Oh, probably my favorite ending since The Other Guys. Wow. I really like how Shane Black can end his movies. Either that or Memento, because Memento just has one of the best crazy fucking ending. But yeah, this one I went from like a 4 to a 5 just from the ending. Again, she's got a small role.
Smaller role in that too. You said she
does, but she still plays a character. She kind of plays a character that gives zero fucks. She plays a school teacher, that gets recruited by Sam Rockwell's character to help save the world or whatever. But you get flashbacks for like each of the characters that he picks, and she gets a good amount of screen time in her flashback with Michael Pena, and she plays off him very well too.
I like Michael Pena.
She plays a teacher that basically just gives, like, she's just burnt out and done, but is still far from retirement and just trying to keep her head down and get work done, while her husband, Michael Pena, is someone that she brought to the school who's struggling to find a job, and she... Yeah. And then shit happens.
Yeah, and that's why I think like this upcoming like They Will Kill You. Like that's the thing. Is like if this doesn't go well, and I think here's the thing: if you're trying to go for like commercial viability, especially right now, horror is very smart. It's like if we got to prove out our like ability to carry a movie. Horror's having a moment. It's been doing very well. You can shoot them for cheaper. They're not as difficult. I don't think
it's so much easier to make a profit. Yeah.
They're easier to make a profit, and they don't ask as much from the acting side because again, like the horror itself can carry so much of the movie. Where like if the horror is good and you're good, it's really like hard to miss.
Yeah. The issue here for They Will Kill You though, it seems to be like a weirder. It's not an A24, but it is a weirder horror movie where I think things get turned on their head, kind of like what's that movie that's getting a sequel? Ready or Not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. It's very similar to that, where there will be I think there is a bit of a role reversal in it, which I think that plays a lot to her strengths. I think that makes it weirder, and I think she'll be, she's playing a character that won't give any fucks. I think it plays to a lot of her strengths, so it makes me even more nervous because she has all the tools, everything there for it to go well. It just needs to, at that point, it's marketing. At that point, it's how well does the editor handle the movie and all that. Because I'm sure she'll crush it.
Yeah, and I think you're right, too, that, like, using her, like, again, she has, like, this propensity for, like, weird roles. And I think that, like, in the right sort of vein, like you said, like, they will kill you. I like the Ready or Not. I think that's a really good comp of, like, you're playing this, like, self-aware person in a horror movie. Seems like a very smart thing for her to play. It seems like a really smart role. Like, it does feel like if I was literally crafting a perfect role for her, it would look like a lot like this.
Yeah, it would look a lot like this. Which
it's like if we're going to take our shot to carry a film, this is the type of film I want. This would be the role in the film I would want. Do you know anything about the director?
It's his first time directing, which also scares the shit out of me.
Oh, brother. I would not have recommended that.
I would have chosen a lot different choice. I would have made a different choice here. I know it's like literally, it like everything on paper, it makes sense. Everything on paper almost makes sense. You just need it to, like, God, if Sam Raimi was directing this, I'd be like, she's to the moon. I will buy all the Zazie Beetz stocks I can. But the fact that it's just, it's a first-time director. It's a small, and it's the first time this studio is making anything, but it's the Andy Muschietti studio.
Okay, I do like Andy Muschietti.
So that helps. That
helps
does
a lot. I mean, he would have an eye for talent, but...
Yeah, first-time director, and, and what worries me, first film from this studio, period, so I have no idea what their fucking marketing department looks like. I don't know how much...
I mean, this is a word of mouth play for sure, Tom. I mean, you're just, that's why horror can have good word of mouth. I mean, oh boy, that my anxiety like doubles when he's a first director. I was like,
yeah, every like new thing I learned about this, I would go from like, oh.
I mean, it's just like you can't. I mean, directing a film is so hard. It's so damn hard, and it's like it's. Man, I hope it works for her. I kind of want to see it just to support her, but oh boy, like that.
Yeah,
like this is the classic like high risk. If this guy's really good, it makes her career, and it's like this is like buying a penny stock when you go with a first time director. It's like I might go broke, and this might go to zero, or I might just turn into a millionaire. Like, and this is. No, it's going to be. When does it come out?
Let me double check that.
Man, that's a fascinating.
It's a first time director, but it's Andy Muschietti produced, but it's their first time releasing a movie ever. It's like
God, it's scary. It's scary. Are you looking up when it comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know. Wow.
Yeah, it is Kirill Sokolov. That's a name.
Certainly is.
Oh
man, I hope this isn't bad.
Yeah, and for a horror movie, it also depends a lot on when you come out.
Yeah, I do really like Patricia Arquette, who's in it. Comes out on my brother's birthday, March 27th.
March 27th, there we go. Yeah, and it does have
Tom Felton too.
Yeah, Heather Graham.
I've always liked Heather Graham too. Okay, well,
and I gotta be honest, Tom Felton makes me feel like hopefully it's got a good script to it, because he's also got kind of fuck you money, even though he's only in the whole fucking Harry Potter movies for like 14 goddamn minutes, but he still probably has more money than I'll ever see.
Every single one of them print money.
Yes.
So your comp was
my comp for her. It took some work, and I gotta really need all of you to stay with me through a lot of these comps, because unfortunately, it starts a little rough and then just gets rougher, but I think you'll see the vision. So my comp for her is Angelica Houston, who's a name that you might not necessarily know, but she played Morticia Addams on the Addams Family movies, which I think is a good comp to say that, like, if they ever did, like, if the Wayans brothers ever decide to do a Black Addams Family, I really think Zazie Beetz would be a great Morticia Addams because she gives zero fucks and she could be so nice to her children and then so terrifying to people that threaten her family and all that. She would do really good at that. Yeah, I should also say that Angelica Houston is the daughter of one of the most successful directors in the history of American cinema, John Huston. So that's that helps your career a lot. But she's still, even for a Nepo baby, she's had a very long career. She's been working pretty consistently since the 80s. She has an Oscar. She has a Golden Globe, multiple Emmy nominations, and BAFTAs. She does a lot of stuff with BBC now, currently. So that's where she's getting a lot of the BAFTAs. She did a lot of voice work, after the Addams Family movies, because just to stay busy, I think. She wasn't getting as many roles. And then she kind of had a comeback in the late 2000s when she was in the John Wick series. She played a relatively important role. She was John Wick's foster mom in John Wick 3, and then she was also in Ballerina, which was the spinoff of that.
Yep.
So that kind of brought her some good new will and all that. She's worked consistently with Wes Anderson, especially early on in his career, and I want to say she's coming back to work with him in his next one, but I may have read that wrong. But I do know that she's now going to be the lead in a new Agatha Christie series on the BBC, which is easy. Yeah, it's it's as much as TV shows print money, that's an easy money printer. That's one of the most recognizable names you can have in Britain. Anything Agatha Christie does well. So she's got the nice relationship with Wes Anderson. She also works a lot with a director who you may know, Woody Allen. You guys ever heard of him? Maybe.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, and I do think. I know. Bringing up Woody Allen in 2026 is a wild fucking choice on my part. But
I get what you're going. I see the vision.
She did great little bit roles for him in multiple different movies throughout the 80s and 90s, and helped basically, kept her in the biz. And it's just, I hate bringing up Woody Allen. I just can't think of a bigger disappointment to me in my film life. Even though, and here's the thing about Woody Allen. I didn't want to go on a Woody Allen tangent, but he let us know who he was early on. Manhattan was released in 1978. In that movie, he is literally dating a 16-year-old. He fucking told us. He let us know. The only person I should be mad at is myself. But I can also be mad at someone taking advantage of young women like that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for you. Obviously, Woody Allen holds a dear place in your heart, and so I know.
He consistently released a movie for 40 years.
Yeah, he was on. The dude was he's a legend. But yeah, it's anyway. This isn't Woody Allen.
We're not going to talk about him anymore. I will end on saying anything that Diane Keaton does, though, is fantastic. Just focus on her. Just focus on her.
Yeah, she's great. R.I.P. Diane Keaton. Yeah. What a legend.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara would actually be a decent comp for Zazie Beetz too, I'd say. That's more I would say more for the comedy route. If she decided to go more that route, but Catherine O'Hara would.
The problem, though, or not the problem, but she's also just really pretty. She's stunningly gorgeous. So I think it's hard to do straight comedy. It's almost she's almost too good looking to do just straight comedy. I know it sounds weird, but
that girl.
You know what I'm saying?
The girl from Dirty Dancing when she changed her nose that. I think that was a big. She could play that rom-com type role really well with that. Once you got rid of that, it kind of becomes so much less believable that she has any sort of issues in life at all.
Right.
That just doesn't happen to beautiful people like that.
The O'Hara call. I do like the O'Hara call because I do think their brand of comedy was kind of they had that similar little vibe to them. And I do think that I think that Zazie, like you said, I think that there's a real world where, okay, so actually, continue on the Angelica. Did you have anything else on Angelica?
No, just that I think that her, close creative relationship she should have would be like I would pick Donald Glover and James Samuel, the guy that did The Harder They Fall. Because if he keeps making movies, I think that it'd be really good to keep working with him, and he's not going to be bringing Jonathan Majors back, so a lot of open opportunity there. sorry to say. And attaching yourself to Donald Glover is just like a no-brainer. Like, you can't just be constantly calling him on the phone and be like, "Hey, can I be in Mr. and Mrs. Smith season 3?" But I say yes to whatever he offers you.
Agreed, 100%. And what were you gonna say?
No, I was just probably whatever you were about to say.
I was gonna say, like, I do think, like you said, like the Donald Glover thing is like it's kind of obvious, but it's also just worth reiterating that it's a partnership that she wants to maintain. I just think that's like it's solid, it's good. Like they had such a good working. They also had good chemistry, which like I don't think is true for every person that Donald Glover's ever worked with. I mean, like
no.
he doesn't have like I didn't love Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I thought their chemistry was a little bit all over the place. And again, Mr. and Mrs. Smith failed out because Phoebe Miles, what's her name?
Phoebe Waller. No, not Phoebe Waller-Bridger.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is Phoebe Waller.
It is?
Yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. That's right. Yeah, and they had Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yep. They had creative differences. So I do think there's a world where I would highly I think stay attached to DG, keep kind of carving out this little odd little eccentric world that you have and see where things go.
No, yeah, and if They Will Kill You pans out, being attached to Andy Muschietti is not a terrible fucking thing either.
Yes.
He is going to be taking off here pretty soon, especially when he finally gets his Batman movie done. I know that I feel like he did a really good job with The Flash in terms of salvaging what he could out of that movie. Because that whole thing was a mess. But I think what he had, he did his job perfectly. I think it says a lot that James Gunn is letting him do Batman after Flash.
Agreed. Yeah, I think people kind of knew Flash was just, again, man, we've really picked a lot of just.
We're picking a lot of fights, to be honest. We're
at Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors. It's
let's start talking about Ezra Miller. We'll just go straight into it from Flash. We're talking about Shia. We may as well talk Ezra.
But I think the Angelica Houston comp was really inspired. I really think that it's such a, again, it's unique, but it's I think it could really work for her, a very real way,
Yeah, because she did, I don't know. The only thing that Angelica Houston didn't ever really do, I think, is play the main lead in something. I think Zazie can do that. I would say that arguably Zazie is more talented on just a base level than Angelica Houston. Not to put her down at all. I would say even if she wasn't a Nepo baby, I think she would have still had a successful Hollywood career. I don't know if she would have been working consistently since the 80s, but I still think she would have broken out.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Where it's I think
Zazie can carry a movie by herself, I feel. And especially, God, They Will Kill You really. I just keep I'm just so anxious about that movie now that we've talked about it.
I know. I am too, Tom. It's first time director, first time studio. It kind of fills you with a certain level of
unease.
Fills you with a certain level of apprehension, for sure. Anything else on Zazie? I feel like we kind of covered her. I think I didn't have anything else.
Obviously, say yes when Marvel comes back to ask you about Deadpool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's a given. That's. I mean, she has her meal ticket there. You got to keep cashing that check. And she'll be good in the market. I mean, that's you get in there. That's a huge deal. So yeah, keep cashing that. But I mean, she's in. She's already proof of concept there. So
yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our first career corner. How do you feel?
Oh, great. That was a lot of fun. And the research for this was, again, we were talking about it earlier, just so much fun. I would have never watched Twinless if it wasn't for this. And I'm so excited now for James. And I don't think I would have watched The Harder They Fall either. I probably would have found that eventually because Westerns, but I wouldn't have known about James Samuel either. And I'm excited to see what he does next. I think he's doing, what was he doing? I think it was Mortal Kombat next. And
Oh, is he really?
yeah, but I think the big thing is that like for the first time in like a video game adaptation, they're just gonna let him rip, like let him make whatever he wants.
Huh. I am gonna watch Harder They Fall now that you've talked it up. I think that's on my list. Sounds like a good little movie. Sounds like one I'd enjoy.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he's not doing that. Harder They Fall. Oh, Irredeemable. That's what he's doing. That's right. Irredeemable. It's a comic series. That's what, and they're letting him rip on that, which I think is a great idea. Irredeemable is a Superman, like a dark Superman type story. It's a really good comic. And it has like 2 runs. It's Irredeemable and Incorruptible. It's got a nice little twist at the end where the Superman character that turns bad learns a lot more about himself. It gets very meta, which is why I liked it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see how he handles that meta aspect of it too, because he could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, Tom, this was great as always. Good luck on the editing. I think it's going to be a real bitch, but
oh yeah, editing's going to be a long time.
You're doing the Lord's work, Tom, and I appreciate it.
I try. You know, I secretly love it.
That's true. I know you do.
Yeah,
You're better at it
it's
than I am.
fun.
That's for damn sure. Well, as always, my brother, love it. You have a great one, and in the next pod, we should say Academy Awards preview. We're doing do you want to reveal the gimmick, or should we hold on to the gimmick?
No, I say we reveal the gimmick. We'll drum up some.
You want to reveal it?
If anybody's made it to this point in the pod anyway, congrats. You'll get a nice little prize here to find.
It's going to be a bit of a mess. We're trying to keep them. We get to we got to.
Shout out. I don't know that Bill finished the last one. I know that he started it. So shout out Bill if you have made it to this point as well.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah,
Appreciate
our listener. So for the Academy Awards, we're gonna do a little March Madness style bracket. We're gonna release that one hopefully, before. I will hopefully get it edited in time before the Academy Awards come out, but we'll record ahead of time. We're doing a little March Madness bracket for it. We're gonna have.
Amen. Let's go.
We're gonna have 6 teams that are already seeded, and then 4 play-in teams. The play-in movies are F1, Hamnet, Secret Agent, and Train Dreams, right?
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right, Tom.
Yeah. And then our first seed, number 1 seed is obviously going to be Sinners. Number 2 seed, One Battle After Another. Seeds 3 through 6, I'm a little shaky on what we would want to do with, but that's going to be Begonia, Sentimental Value, Frankenstein, probably going to be 3 or 4 because it's got a bunch of extra noms for it too. And Marty Supreme, and I'm missing one. Which one am I missing?
I can't. Yeah, but it'll be a bracket.
We watch a lot of movies, guys, and we're into the industry. That's why you should listen to us as for our career coach.
It's the end of the pod. Everyone's officially flipped out. Well, Tom, as always, brother, thank you.
Good talking to you, buddy. See you.
Yeah, we'll try to later.
Okay. All right. That's the end of that pod. That is going to be a marathon pod by the time you guys actually listen all the way through it, and I appreciate you for listening through it. As always, God bless the league. And yeah, we will talk to you, or we will talk to you guys next week.